AITA for ending a friendship over a misguided gesture? Hey Reddit, I need your judgment on whether I'm the asshole in this situation. So, here's the story. A few months ago, I, 27M, had been friends with Sarah, 25F, for several years. We had shared countless memories and supported each other through thick and thin. However, recently, Sarah's behavior took a turn that made me question our friendship. Sarah had always been a bit of a free spirit, but her actions became increasingly reckless. One day, she announced that she had decided to quit her stable job to pursue her dream of becoming an artist. While I admired her courage, I also worried about her financial stability and future. Wanting to be supportive, I offered her some practical advice and suggested she have a backup plan or explore part-time opportunities to support herself while she pursued her passion. However, Sarah brushed off my concerns and insisted that she would figure everything out on her own. A few weeks later, Sarah excitedly invited me to her art exhibition, where she would be showcasing her latest pieces. I attended the event, genuinely hoping to see her succeed and prove me wrong about her choices. To my surprise, the exhibition was a disaster. The artwork lacked cohesiveness and skill, and the event was poorly organized. It was evident that Sarah had not invested the necessary time and effort to hone her craft. Despite the underwhelming response from attendees, Sarah remained oblivious to the shortcomings of her work. After the exhibition, Sarah approached me enthusiastically, expecting praise and support. Unable to mask my disappointment, I told her honestly that I believed she had rushed into her artistic career without enough preparation, and that it showed in her exhibition. Sarah immediately became defensive and accused me of being unsupportive and jealous of her pursuit of happiness. She claimed that I didn't understand her artistic vision and that true artists were often misunderstood. I tried to explain that I was speaking out of concern as a friend, but she wasn't open to hearing any constructive criticism. Feeling hurt and frustrated, I decided to distance myself from Sarah. I couldn't handle her refusal to acknowledge any shortcomings and her unwillingness to consider different perspectives. We haven't spoken since, and I've been questioning whether I made the right decision. So Reddit, am I the asshole for ending a friendship over a misguided gesture? Should I have kept my thoughts to myself and continued supporting her unconditionally, even if I believed she was making a mistake? Edit. Hello everyone. I wanted to thank you all for your responses, as they have taught me many things that I do need to change with my form of communication. I do believe the way I talked with Sarah was very rude now, and I was very weak to my frustration. I shouldn't have gotten emotional, and will be aware of this in the future. I also want to clarify something. The reason why I was so frustrated and emotional is because the event that had taken place with Sarah and I with the art exhibition wasn't the key factor or even a high factor to why I have taken a break in our friendship. It was my last straw. Sarah has done things like this before in the past. One example of this is when she opened up a bookstore a few years back when she was really young with a loan from her parents. I was, at the time, really excited for her and supported her to the point I was helping with picking up materials that she needed for her. But Sarah wasn't properly taking care of things and asked for my advice. I let her know very lightly, so I wouldn't hurt her feelings, that she needs to at least open the store at the time it's supposed to be open and look into checking the background of whoever she hired. She said she understood and thanked me. Nothing never changed, and let's just say, the store now belongs to her parents and is not a bookstore anymore. She always asks for my opinion, and when I try to give, she ignores it. One day, I even told her that my opinions doesn't matter, and even though I wanted to say it was due to her never listening to it, so why even ask? I told her I wasn't very versed in the subject, so my opinion wasn't accurate. Furthermore, she got mad at me for this, saying that I was no help. And this to me feel like my relationship with Sarah. She always comes to me with her frustrations and lays them out to me and begs me to help her, and then ignores any effort or advice I give to help her. I was so happy that she finally got a stable job, as I saw this as an achievement. Though I was also very relieved, as whenever her parents would kick her out, she would come running to me, and at some point, it became very exhausting. So once she got her stable job and moved out, in a way, a block of stress was relieved. And it stayed that way until the exhibition. And the reason why was seeing how unorganized it was, and how many people there were complaining about much of the art behind her back, brought me back to memories of the past. So I thought I should finally tell her as honest as possible. Now I know that, while I didn't need to lie, I shouldn't have said my criticism like that, especially right after the event. Nevertheless, giving this backstory is not to use as an excuse, but as reason to why I wanted to keep a bit distance for now. I will apologize to her once I'm ready to talk, but for now, I want to take time separately to prepare myself to talk to her about my feelings and frustrations without getting emotional and saying something I regret. Again, thank you all for your insightful comments and judgments. It's given me a lot to reflect upon. I'll try to reach out to Sarah and have an honest conversation about our friendship as soon as I'm ready. I know that communication is key, and I hope we can find common ground or at least gain some closure. Thanks again, Reddit.
Learning how and when to give criticism is a skill it appears you have not mastered. That's not your fault, it's harder than most people realize. At the time, you could have said, "I've had a great time, it's been so nice being here enjoying your work, so glad I could be here, happy I got to experience this with you etc." You're not lying, and you're also not crushing her spirits while she's in the euphoria of the moment. A few days later, if you felt the need or she asked again, you can be more specific and frank with your comments. You've also had time by then to think of constructive things to say.
YTA for using ChatGPT to find karma. YTA. You're ending the friendship because you don't like how she took your unsolicited advice. You're weirdly paternal with Sarah, as though you have some stake in how successful she is. Even as a friend, it's not your business. She wants to be a starving artist. Fun. How bohemian, it's worked out for lots of artists in the past. If it doesn't, she can go back to the grind. But you're all bothered that she's not doing this your logical way, despite her being pretty clear she doesn't want your guidance on how to live her life. Then you chose to be very rude about her gallery show. First off, someone liked her work enough that she got a showing. Second, it's her first one, and you're complaining that it's not mature. Yeah, that's something experience brings. Third, art is subjective. You don't like it. Shut up about it. It's her form of self-expression, and she gets to do it however she wants. Your job was to say something supportive and you failed. You sound quite jealous of her. Your continued efforts to rein her in keep failing, and now you're so bugged by that you can't be friends with her. Not sure what you're bringing to this friendship table.
Unconditional support and knowing when to keep your mouth shut are not necessarily the same thing.
YTA. I went the whole story waiting for her to do something wrong to you. You insulted her, and she didn't take it well, and now you're thinking about ending the friendship. You clearly weren't very diplomatic, and you probably should have been more supportive as a friend anyway. You literally criticized her, and now you're acting like she's in the wrong. Of course you're the asshole here. You're dumping her as a friend because you don't like her art, or how she takes criticism. That's completely asinine.
YTA pretty much from the beginning to end of this story. You sound really judgmental and overbearing.
YTA, and you were definitely not her friend.
Yeah, you are. I can't be friends with someone who doesn't like me shitting on their dreams. It's a hell of a take.